Level 1. Trash. The Pretenders. This is where luxury goes to die. These are the Pretenders. These are bikes that demand premium prices, often costing $20,000 to $30,000, but deliver budget engineering and cut corners. First up, we have to talk about the Harley-Davidson Street Glide Standard. Now put your pitchforks down and listen. The Street Glide walks into the luxury conversation wearing a costume it borrowed from 1965. Harley wants credit for heritage, but in this specific base model, heritage is just a polite word for we stopped innovating. For $30,000 out the door, what are you actually getting? You get an air-cooled engine that generates enough heat to roast your inner thighs in traffic. You get rear suspension with barely 2 inches of travel, meaning every pothole sends a shockwave directly into your spine. And you get an infotainment system that often lags behind a 2010 iPad. The luxury here is entirely social. It is about fitting in with the club. But stripped of the badge, you are riding a heavy, slow, vibrating tractor. It is a participation trophy for a bank loan. Sitting right next to it in the trash tier is the Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. It looks the part, doesn't it? It has the chrome, the stance, and the retro vibe. But luxury isn't just about looking expensive, it is about feeling expensive. The moment you touch the switchgear on this bike, the illusion falls apart. The plastics feel hollow. The suspension crashes over bumps rather than absorbing them. The engine runs out of breath the moment you hit highway speeds. Level 2. Bad. The Confused. Level 2 isn't garbage, but it is confused. These are bikes that try desperately to be premium, but they miss the mark on execution and ergonomics. The offender here is the Indian Pursuit. Indian looked at the Honda Goldwing and said, "We can do that." Spoiler alert, they couldn't. On paper, it's a beast. The Power Plus engine makes real power, but the rest of the bike feels like it was designed by a committee that never met each other. The styling is awkward. It looks like a locomotive that melted in the sun. The electronics are notoriously glitchy, with screens that freeze or reboot mid-ride. But the real sin here is the fit and finish. When you are paying luxury car prices, you expect perfection. On the Pursuit, you find cheap wiring connectors exposed to the elements. You find body panels that don't align perfectly. At $35,000, good enough is actually failure. Joining it in Level 2 is the BMW R18 Transcontinental. This is a tragedy because it is physically beautiful. The pinstriping is hand-painted, the chrome is deep enough to drown in, but riding it is a chore. The engine is so wide that your feet are cramped on the floorboards. The vibrations at highway speeds go from character to numbing. The active cruise control fights you. It is a bike designed for Instagram photos, not for crossing continents. It prioritizes style over substance, which is the exact opposite of what true luxury should be. Level 3. The Mid. Level 3 is the B student of luxury. These bikes do everything right. They are reliable, they are fast, and they are well built, but they have zero soul. The king of this level is the Yamaha FJR 1300. It is the Honda Accord of the bike world. It's fast, the shaft drive is bulletproof, and the electric windscreen works perfectly. But it is boring. It has looked exactly the same for over a decade. The dashboard looks like a scientific calculator from high school. It is competent luxury for people who view motorcycles purely as transportation, not as an event. You buy an FJR because you are sensible, and unfortunately, sensible is usually the enemy of luxury. Its cousin in this tier is the Kawasaki Concourse 14. It has a ZX-14 engine, so it is a missile. It will do 150 miles per hour without breaking a sweat. But that is its only trick. Sit in the cockpit and you are staring at a sea of cheap gray plastic. It has a key fob system that is so complicated you almost need a PhD to start the bike. It lacks the refinement, the softness, and the waftability that elevates a bike from a sport tourer to a luxury machine. Now we are going to leave the appliances behind. Level 4 is where engineering finally starts to justify the price tag. Level 4. Okay. The German Standard.
Level 4 is the OK tier. This is where we find the bikes that define the segment even if they lack a bit of heart. The benchmark here is the BMW R1250 RT. There's a reason the police use these. The wind protection is aerodynamic wizardry. You can smoke a cigar at 100 miles per hour in a bubble of silence. The gigantic TFT dash is better than the screen in most luxury cars. The shift cam boxer engine pulls like a freight train from anywhere in the rev range. So why is it only okay? Because it lacks character. It is clinical. It does exactly what you ask with zero drama. It's perfect, and perfection is a little bit cold. It feels like operating a high-end piece of medical equipment rather than riding a motorcycle. Sitting beside it is the Ducati Multistrada V4S. This brings Italian flair to the segment. It has radar cruise control, blind spot detection, and semi-active suspension that reads the road 400 times a second. But it's messy. The V4 engine runs hot, like roast your ankles hot. The chain drive is messy compared to a shaft drive. It is performance luxury. It's for the guy who wants to tour, but also wants to pretend he's a MotoGP pilot. It's exciting, but true luxury shouldn't require you to lube a greasy chain every 500 miles. To get true, effortless luxury, we have to go to level 5. This is where execution finally meets expectation.
Level 5, good. The gold standard. These are the bikes that deliver exactly what they promise with no caveats. First, the legend, the Honda Goldwing Tour DCT. The Goldwing isn't a motorcycle, it is a low-flying spacecraft. Honda redesigned the front suspension to a double wishbone system just to separate steering forces from suspension forces. Why? So you don't feel bumps in the handlebars. That is an insane level of engineering detail. The DCT, automatic, transmission is seamless. You twist, you go. No clutch, no clunk. It has Apple CarPlay, it has an airbag, and it will run for 300,000 miles. It is the definition of arriving fresh. The only downside is that it's so good it's almost sleepy. It removes you from the road entirely. If you want luxury that keeps you awake, you choose the Triumph Rocket 3 GT. If the Goldwing is about silence, the Rocket 3 is about excess. It has the largest production motorcycle engine in the world, 2,500 cc. That is bigger than the engine in a Honda Civic. But it isn't crude. The fit and finish are exquisite. The brushed aluminum headers, the hidden passenger pegs, and the single-sided swing arm. It is beautiful. It handles way better than a bike this big has any right to. This is muscle luxury. It is a Bentley on 2 wheels. Big, heavy, expensive, and effortlessly powerful. But even the Rocket 3 is just a machine. Level 6 is where we leave transportation behind. These are statement pieces. Level 6, great. The statement pieces. You don't buy these bikes to commute. You buy these to announce to the world that you have won at life. First up, the Harley-Davidson CVO Road Glide. Wait, didn't I put Harley in the trash tier? Yes, but the CVO is different. This is where Harley actually tries. This is the custom vehicle operations model. The paint is hand-applied and costs more than a used car. The Skyline OS infotainment is massive and responsive. The 12-1 variable valve timing engine finally brings modern tech to the V-twin party. Is it worth $45,000? Logically, absolutely not. But luxury isn't logical. The CVO has presence. When you roll up on this, people stop. It has a cultural weight that a BMW or Honda simply cannot match. It is the American Rolls-Royce of the highway. But if you prefer German engineering to American paint, you look at the BMW K1600 Grand America. The engine here is an inline-6. Just say that out loud. A 6-cylinder motorcycle. It is turbine smooth. There is zero vibration. It sounds like a Formula One car from the 90s. It features floorboards, forged handlebars, and every piece of tech BMW has in their arsenal. Unlike the R1250 RT, this bike has soul. That engine gives it character.
It's refined, sophisticated, and devastatingly fast. It's what you ride when you want to cross Europe in a day and feel like a diplomat while doing it. But even the K1600 can be bought at a dealership. Level 7 is different.
Level 7 GOAT, the Unobtainium, the greatest of all time. This tier doesn't exist for normal people. This is where budgets vanish and craftsmen are given permission to build the impossible. The Ducati Superleggera V4. Superleggera means super light. Every single part of this bike is carbon fiber, titanium, or magnesium. The frame, carbon. The wheels, carbon. The swing arm, carbon. It produces 234 horsepower and weighs less than a beginner bike. It costs $100,000. This isn't a motorcycle, it's mechanical art. It comes with a crate. It comes with a track day where you ride the actual world superbike. It is the ultimate expression of performance as luxury. It is excess in its purest, sharpest form. And finally, the Brof Superior SS100. If the Ducati is a fighter jet, the Brof Superior is a Patek Philippe watch. Hand-built in France, the gas tank is hand-beaten aluminum that takes 40 hours to polish. The brakes are Behringer 4-disc aeronautical brakes that look like nothing else on Earth. The engine is a bespoke V-twin that looks vintage but is brand new. You don't just buy a Brof Superior, you are interviewed for it. It costs upwards of $75,000. It is slow compared to the Ducati. It doesn't have radar, but it has exclusivity. When you park this, you aren't competing with Harleys, you are competing with vintage Ferraris. It is the GOAT of elegance. So, there you have it, from the plastic-clad pretenders in Level 1 to the carbon fiber masterpieces in Level 7. If you had an unlimited budget, which tier are you choosing? Are you taking the reliability of the Honda or the art of the Brof Superior? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this reality check, and subscribe for more automotive truth. Ride safe.